Hello everybody and welcome to the ESI Digest. We run through the biggest esports business related news stories of the week. I'm your host Tom Daniels, the sub-editor of Esports Insider, and today we have 5 huge news stories from the world of esports business. So in this episode we're going to be covering Roc Nation Sports and GameSquare's esports partnership, Mobalytics naming LS and Nemesis as co-owners, FaZe Clan securing an investment from Cox Enterprises, T1 launching a new Esports Academy, and finally we're going to be talking about ESL Gaming's deal with Raid Shadow Legends developer Plarium. But before we jump into this week's episode of the ESI Digest, I do want to thank our partners for this episode, payment processing company Nuve. So if you want to learn more about their end-to-end payment technology platform and the processing solutions that are available, then head over to their website. So let's get into the digest. Our first story of the ESI Digest sees us talk about management and sports agency Roc Nation Sports and their partnership with Gaming Community Network to create gaming solutions for its athletes. Now GCN, which is a part of GameSquare Esports' list of companies, will collaborate with Roc Nation Sports on a variety of athlete-centric strategies. Now this includes esports tournaments, gaming content production, and live streaming events. The multi-year partnership will also include content which will be showcased across a variety of gaming-centric and esports-centric websites via the GCN network. Now, for those who are unaware of Roc Nation, it is an agency owned by Jay-Z, and its sports division, which is Roc Nation Sports, has a list of clientele that includes NBA player LaMelo Ball, footballers Romelu Lukaku and Kevin De Bruyne, alongside other WNBA and NFL players as well. So this is a massive kind of agency with a lot of kind of global sporting superstars. Now, according to the release, GCN will create strategies for the agency's athletes that will be tailored towards their specific interests within the esports and gaming world. Overall, I think this is actually a really big deal. We're seeing more and more traditional sports athletes even trying to go into esports and into gaming as kind of like a marketing tool as well to also build up their brand. This definitely seems like it's going to be using esports as a marketing ability to build up brands of the Roc Nation Sports' clientele and all their athletes. It could also start maybe getting some of these athletes interested into gaming and into the esports sector. That could actually lead into greater investments into the future. But overall, I think for GameSquare Esports and for GCN and obviously for Roc Nation Sports, I think this is a great deal, and it's actually utilizing a sector which is slowly growing to build other people's profiles as well. And I think that's a smart thing to do. Moving on now, an esports analytics platform, Mobalytics, has announced that content creators LS and Nemesis have been named as co-owners. Now, according to the release, LS and Nemesis will reportedly contribute to the design and development of the platform's new tools and features, which is going to be designed around high-ranked players and professional teams. This is expected to build on features such as the Gamer Performance Index, which is the GPI, which has been used previously in player assessment at Riot Games' Scouting Grounds, and the NA/LCS ecosystem. As a result of the move, LS and Nemesis will be joining the large ownership group of Mobalytics, which includes the likes of T1, Almas Capital, and HP Tech Ventures, among many other investors within the esports world. Overall, I do think that this is actually a really smart choice, especially if they're going to be using LS and Nemesis in a way to kind of bolster the, high-end player and the professional team's output within the platform itself. Having these two kind of experienced names within that sector already, and also popular names as well, can only help Mobalytics grow and develop its platform even more. So I'm really excited to kind of see what input both of these will have. How much of an input will we see through Mobalytics' next features in the future. Our third story of the ESI Digest sees us talk about North American esports organization FaZe Clan announcing an investment from media conglomerate Cox Enterprises. Now, according to the release, the investment is expected to deepen the relationship between Cox Enterprises and FaZe Clan. That relationship started in 2019 when FaZe Clan partnered with Atlanta Esports Ventures, which is a joint venture between Cox Enterprises and Provenance, to form Call of Duty League franchise Atlanta FaZe. Now, unfortunately, financial details of this investment have not been revealed, so we don't know how significantly Cox has invested into FaZe. However, this deal does kind of signify for me the continued momentum that FaZe has been having over the last 12 months. Obviously, they had the Sports Illustrated cover, they've also secured a range of partnerships with HyperX and Totino's, and they've announced a multitude of collaborations within apparel and within lifestyle gaming and in that sector as well. So overall, while there's not much more to say about about this partnership. I think it does kind of highlight that FaZe is going into the right direction for Cox Enterprises to kind of double down on their investment and invest purely just in FaZe themselves as well, and not through this joint venture. So overall, I think it'd be very interesting to see how this investment is spent, what's kind of going to happen. Is there going to be even more partnership opportunities? Is there going to be further projects being planned into the future? And we'll probably all find that out in the next 12 months or so. Our penultimate story of the ESI Digest sees us talk about South Korean esports organisation T1 and the launch of the T1 Esports Academy. Now, the academy is expected to launch in September in Seoul and will initially offer courses in League of Legends. However, the organisation has also revealed its intention to go into other titles in the future. Now, the T1 Esports Academy plans to kind of have two types of training courses throughout its academy, and that includes Path to Pro, which is an intensive academy program designed to train professional players, and then also this Path to Improve course, which is expected to be going out a little bit later in the year, and that was reported by Ivan Global. Now, unlike the first course, which is tailored towards professional players, Path to Improvement is a series of classes which will be tailored towards casual gamers and them looking to improve their gaming skills. To the global fanbase of T1, unfortunately, both classes will only be available for players who live in Korea. The reason why it is only for players who live in Korea is because T1 has actually created a dedicated academy setup within its esports building for the kind of people who are using the courses to actually utilize. Finally, there are also some little details about the Path to Pro course itself, and it will consist of a 5-month intense training program, and T1 has announced that former professional players Sky and Untara will be providing training on the course. Moreover, successful applicants will also undergo a 1-month evaluation period before being taught game theory and concepts over the course of the 14 weeks. The course will have a final evaluation in which the select group of players will also get the opportunity to play for the organization's semi-professional team, T1 Rookies. Personally, I think this is great for T1, as hopefully you can kind of see a new crop of League of Legends players come through this academy. I do think this is more tailored towards the professional side, and it's another slant on the academy kind of structure and the academy system, which is very interesting to see. With all these different structures and models coming out with, you know, tailoring themselves towards academy players, it'll be interesting to see which academy structure comes out on top and which one is the most effective. A final story of the ESI Digest sees us talk about ESL Gaming announce a partnership with Raid Shadow Legends publisher Plarium. Now, the deal will see ESL name Plarium as its official global gaming category partner for the ESL Pro League 14 season. What's really interesting about this partnership is actually Plarium will integrate Raid Shadow Legends Mech Arena Robot Showdown into the league alongside a new yet to be announced title. Now, according to the release, the titles will be showcased through brand integrations and also a custom content segment throughout the entirety of the tournament series. I do think that overall this is incredibly interesting. There's not much more which has been revealed about this partnership itself. However, it's very interesting to see kind of another game be integrated into an esports broadcast. It'd be very intriguing to see how this is done and, you know, to what effect this has, because, you know, Raid Shadow Legends and obviously CS:GO don't have that much crossover appeal in terms of, you know, they're not a competitor against each other. However, it is still unique to see what is potentially going to be CS:GO players promoting Raid Shadow Legends on an ESL Pro Tour broadcast. So I'm very intrigued to see how this is kind of utilized and how the activations are made, and if this is going to work, and if we're going to see more kind of game publishers partner with esports tournaments in the future. And that is it for this week's ESI Digest. If you do want to catch up on any of the stories that I have read, then don't forget to head over to Esports Insider's website. Also, don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe on YouTube. And also, you know, follow us on whatever you're listening to me on right now. But until then, I'll see you next week.